Hey RV family, keep it tight. My name is Jay Morris, the review guy, reviewing music for the Love of Music, and I'm back again to bring you another video. And in this one, I'm just going to be continuing my monthly segment, Albums I Liked, where I go through and catch you guys up on some of my favorite records from the past month, in this case, the past 2 months. It goes without saying, but I highly suggest all of these releases. I'll just give little brief excerpts, but I will link all of the reviews to all of these respective records in the description box below if you want to go check those out, because I can never do as much justice in these little excerpts as I can do in the full-length reviews that I gave these records, so I highly suggest all of them, goes without saying. Hope you guys enjoy. Be sure in the comment section below to let me know what your favorite records were of the past 2 months. I would love to hear it. So got a few honorable mentions before we get to the records that got 8 out of 10s or above. These are the records that were right on the cusp. In fact, all of these records were 7.5 out of 10s. I really dug into the new Make Them Suffer record, How to Survive a Funeral. This record, it just shows that Make Them Suffer has come a long way ever since Never Bloom. I called this the record that dethroned Never Bloom in a way, and I would say that that is a pretty fair assessment. This record pretty much embodies all of the reasons that I've always been intrigued and enjoyed Make Them Suffer. The soaring choruses are turned up, the intensity is turned up, love the symphonic elements, although I really wish they would go back to their roots a little bit and incorporate those, because those were some of the more interesting and experimental bits of their very eclectic deathcore sound in the early days. And while some of these ideas pan out in a one-dimensional fashion, it makes me excited to see what happens in the future for this band. Next up, obviously got to shout out Haken's record, Virus, super consistent, progressive metal and progressive rock record from these legends that just continue to prove that they are phenomenal at crafting these intricate, hyper-melodic, multi-phased, multifaceted records that just showcase the spirit of progressive music as a whole. In that review, I believe I called them at the tippity top of prog music, and I think that is very true. So anyone that enjoys progressive music is by far going to get a ton out of this release. New release from Imperial Triumphant, Alphaville. Once again, kind of like Make Them Suffer, proves why Imperial Triumphant has put themselves on the map. They obviously blew up in 2018 with Vile Luxury, and ever since then have been consistently upping the quality leading up to this record, and had a lot of people very excited. Were they going to flunk the test, or were they going to be able to build on the hype of Vile Luxury? Because all of their records prior to Vile Luxury were very good in their own right and should not be discredited at all. I was just curious to see, was Alphaville going to live up to expectations, and it really did, with this very almost like post-apocalyptic darkened sound. It's so claustrophobic, it is so hectic, so chaotic, just as experimental and avant-garde as Vile Luxury, if not more so, with just a mix that puts much more emphasis on these sections that I thought were very inaudible on Vile Luxury, so the production took a step up, and honestly, good on them for that. Really suggests this record, one of the oddest records that you will hear this entire year, with so many different influences that just sound flat out interesting and awe-inspiring. It's a very harrowing record, and honestly, I enjoy it each time I listen to it more and notice little details that I missed the first time. And now to the best of the best. These 4 records are the records that I've been going back to the most, the ones that I gave the most positive reviews to, and the ones that I really suggest to anyone that is interested in what I talk about here. So, Ghost Inside, self-titled record. We really thought that we were never going to get anything from Ghost Inside moving into the future, but they are back. Obviously, they did that comeback show, and it was such a big deal. It's so amazing after the car accident. I definitely suggest you guys go and check out the story behind that. I talk briefly about it in the video review itself if you want it. I believe I put a video in there as well. Such an inspiring story of artistry, and that magnet pulling everyone back together to create a record that is so full to the brim of emotion. One thing that I pointed out is, without the story, this would be a really good metalcore record in its own right, but it is the lyricism and it's the topical elements, it's the thematic elements that really set this record apart from anything Ghost Inside has done before. This is by far the best record that the band has come out with. I don't think anyone can really deny that. It is so inspirational to read about their story, to hear how powerful this record came out. It truly is just a wonder that they're still with us, and I really do hope it's not the last we hear them. I hope we hear more in the future. Next up, my boy Joe, Nothing Nowhere with One Takes Volume 1. He finally did a compilation of the one-take covers that he did of his own tracks, performed in the acoustic rendition or minimalist type of instrumentation, not much touching up, usually just a faint amount of reverb on his vocals. That has quickly become one of my favorite things to come out of his canon. I believe I feel even more positively about it now than I did in my initial review. I feel like a lot of bands that try to do acoustic records or try to have gimmicky records where they do reimaginings of their own tracks and their own records, I think sometimes it doesn't pan out because they don't translate as well to that type of rendition as they do to the initial context that they were crafted in. But Nothing Nowhere on this record picked tracks that really do make a lot of sense to incorporate these elements to really perform in this raw, stripped back sense. They come out beautifully, they come out just so emotionally poignant that it is insane. Love the production, even though it is minimalist, it just comes off very intimate. It comes off like he is literally just portraying these songs in such a true, heartfelt, passionate way. Performance is top notch, some of his best vocalizations. Love 20-something, love Wood and Home. Hammer is performed amazingly. Rejector, one of my favorite tracks, is performed on this record amazingly, just all across the board. Fantastic record, fantastic reimagining. It goes by, even though it is a long track listing like that, I feel like, and one thing that I did say in that review is, I feel like any of his tracks could have translated because he does them with so much emotion, but that's besides the point. So if you've never been into Nothing Nowhere in the past because of his hip-hop elements or his rock elements, definitely check this record out, give it a shot. I've said on many occasions throughout my channel's timeline that he is my favorite contemporary artist, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Next up, Protomartyr with Ultimate Success Today. All of the odd, mysterious playing of Daughter's records, You Won't Get What You Want, is basically on this record. This is by far Protomartyr's most well-defined and well-fleshed out record that they have ever come out with. One of the issues that I have always had with them is, while I was very intrigued by how experimental they were, I always felt like there was a missing link, something that I couldn't put my finger on, something that wasn't making their sound translate in a strong fashion like it maybe could have otherwise. But I feel like this record could make haters believers for this band. They just have such a solid, tight sound, and I think that's the experience blending through. They care so much about their sound. And I know I had someone point out that, like, the Toby Driver comparison, people don't hear Toby Driver brought up that much from, you know, K.O. Dot and Modeling of the Well, but it's really true that the underbelly of sort of the noise rock, the art rock, the no-wave movements are found in spades on this record, and the more you appreciate those genres and more you know about the bands within those genres and confinements, the more you're going to appreciate this record for all the little details that they implemented in a way that you don't necessarily understand how much they're putting in from the influence category, that it makes this record just come off a lot more unique and a lot more flavorful than not only everything in the genre, but everything that Protomartyr have released up until this point. And I just hope they can build on this trajectory and take these stepping stones to continue to craft records that are this eclectic, this unique, this out of the ordinary and off the beaten path, but still cohesive from a musical perspective. You guys knew it was coming. Zombieshark, I Will Destroy You, Myself, and Everything I've Ever Loved. My 10 out of 10. Do I need to say much more about this record? I popped off in that review, and I keep this in mind, plan on doing an interview with Zombieshark. That is something that I am looking so fucking forward to. I actually got in contact with him and Corey, and I am going to be doing an interview with Zombieshark where we will go over the record more so definitely look forward to that if you enjoy this record and enjoy the project and the review and things like that. But beyond that, one of the most unique records that I have heard this entire year or last year. This is everything that I want out of an electronic digital metal record. So few artists and bands can make records that sound this good in this genre with confidence without sounding campy and corny. I really don't want to spoil too much of this record. It's an experience. You have to like electronics and metal to enjoy this though, but please don't let whatever bad implementation you've heard in the past impact your enjoyment of this record, or I guess make you weary going into this record. It is a thrill ride. If you want my in-depth thoughts, because it's so hard to form a coherent thought about this record, just watch my review. And yeah, that's about it. So like I said, be sure to let me know your favorite records of the past 2 months in the the comment section below. There's a lot of records that were right on the cusp that I didn't mention. Really enjoyed the Paysage de Verre record. But yeah, just really excited to get to the meat of this month. There are a lot of big releases coming out that I'm excited to talk about, that I have very high hopes for, and I hope they pan out and find themselves on this list next month. Anyways, be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is, my name is J Morris, the Review Guy, and I'm signing off saying farewell.